Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you the build I'm currently using for the speedrun. It's a rogue build in Soul Found softcore. So if you are playing hardcore, I would recommend changing some of the stuff in my passive tree, like picking dodge and parry and cloak of shadows for defenses. Also in the skills, instead of specking shift, spec into decoy and go for the double decoy and the sonic detonation node. If you're not playing in solo self-found, use the arboreal circuit rings for movement speed, also the falcon body armor, the fighting chance gloves, and all the unique boots. You also have the bleeding heart amulet that gives us damage leech. Also, although do not use this amulet if you're casting spells, as it will inflict bleeding. You have early on the Grimoire of Necrotic Elixir that gives us 40 necrotic damage to melee attacks and spells for 4 seconds and potion use. So you basically, every 4 seconds on the boss early on, use a potion and nuke the boss, basically. Yeah. So now let's look at the skills. So first off, at level 5, spec into puncture and go with the bloodthirst node. So your playstyle will basically be applying stacks through puncture and using flurry to deal damage. And you only need to use puncture once to refresh the stacks. So that's basically your rotation early on. Then next go into death imprint that apply shadow daggers on hit, which is an ailment upon 4 stacks that deals a guaranteed crit. Then at level 9, spec into shift, go for momentum for movement speed, then consumed by shadows for killing bosses faster. Then next go with smoke bomb at level 19 and spec first into knives in the dark, and then max out swirling fog to apply shadow daggers more frequently. So as soon as you have your knives in the dark in the smoke bomb tree, what you want to do is use decoy and then smoke bomb. That will attract all the monsters towards the decoy, and once they enter the smoke bomb, they will all die. So that's a very effective way to kill monster in an area. Also, whenever you have 2 points into death imprint, do not use flurry anymore, only use puncture as your single target skill. Also, whenever you have these knives in the dark, use smoke bomb as soon as possible on the bosses. And yeah, that's it for the skills. So now let's look at the passive tree. First, max out Swift Assassin, that's very good with the attack speed and physical damage. Then 1 point into Gale, 1 point into Evasion, max point into Agility for the Haste, which gives us 30% increased movement speed whenever it procs. Then Snapping Strike to regain health and mana whenever you use your Puncture or Flurry. Then 1 point into Evasion to be able to put points into the Blade Dancer tree. So max out Pursuit for the movement speed. Then go back into the base rogue class tree and max out Evasion. And that's it for the nodes in the passive tree. Although very important, as soon as you're level 27, use Twin Blade. Not before, because it increases the damage taken when you're dual wielding. And at level 27, we have a dagger that increases our damage by quite a lot. So that's why I recommend using it only at level 27. So do not use that, by the way. That's purely a random node I used for this character. And with only those nodes, you're basically able to do all the campaign perfectly fine. You will be fine in terms of damage. So now let's look at the items. So the Chris dagger is the dagger that we will want to equip at level 27, and it increases our critical strike multiplier by a lot. Like if you see in the range, it's 40 to 80%. You can roll those at the gambler. At level 27, you can roll around at least 3 of them, since they cost 2,300 gold. Then on the weapon, you can use the bleeding chance and the ignite chance that increase our damage by a lot. You have also the base melee damage like physical, lightning, fire, void. And then the critical strike multiplier that you can also find on the amulet. And for the amulet, use the Jade amulet that increased our melee attack speed. You have the physical penetration on the amulet and the throwing attack damage also that you can find on the rings. And speaking of rings, use the silver ring at level 1. Try to get the highest amount of movement speed on them. Then you have at level 27 rings that increase our elemental resistance, so use that at level 25, sorry. For the boots, obviously movement speed. Try to get them. Try to get movement speed as high as possible. On the helmet, cooldown recovery speed and puncture level. And on the body armor, the level of smoke bomb. And for the idols, there is our best in slot is a 1x3 idol, I think, that increase our shadow daggers effect. That's basically a more multiplier on our damage. That's really good. So yeah, that's it for the items. Okay, now let's look at the defenses. The most important resistance is the physical one. You want to max that out at chapter 6, because even in the speedrun, if we don't have any physical resistance, by chapter 6 we get shredded. Lightning res is important for the light fight and some of the mobs in chapter 8. The cold res is important for chapter 7 and also for the chapter 8. You have a lot of monsters that deal fire damage, but you don't really care because you can avoid those or simply kill them before they kill you, basically. Poison, there is the Xeric fight, is the boss that is a big worm and put a poison pool on the ground. This boss you can avoid his poison damage by not going in the pool, obviously, and using the decoy. Void damage, there's quite few void damaging monsters in the Rune era. So that's at chapter 3, I think. But that's manageable. Same thing with the fire damage, you can kill them or avoid them. That's no problem, and same for necrotic. There are bosses that deal fire damage, but those are mainly side quest bosses, or bosses that are at the beginning of the campaign. So what I would recommend to do is doing the side quests with bosses at the end of the run. So you will kill Lagun and then do those quests, and basically one-shot those bosses. And try to get some dodge. There is a node in the Smokebone tree that's named Shrouded in Darkness that gives us dodge rating whenever we're staying in it. And you can put points into rapid concealment to get more dodge. And yeah. Also at level 34, you can spec into the decoy and go for another charge of the decoy, and also go for efficient construction for mana efficiency. There's also the Into the Shadows node that increase our dodge rating whenever the decoy is active, which is quite nice. And yeah, that's it for defenses. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any suggestion, comment, or question, please feel free to tell me. I will respond to all of them. Very important, I put the link for the official Last Epoch speedrunning community Discord in the description. So please check that out. And also I put my Twitch channel in which I stream pretty often. So if you can follow me there, that would be nice. Yeah. See you next time, guys. Bye.